It is a character that rarely utters a sound but plays an undeniable role in a theatrical production. I'm talking about the set, an essential element to telling the story. In this segment of Frame, we'll explore the creative and technical aspects involved in bringing a set to life. And with me is our local expert, Theater Cedar Rapids Technical Director and Lighting Designer, Derek Easton. Derek, welcome to Frame.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, you've allowed us in your workshop. We've witnessed the build of a portion of a set for an upcoming production. Can you give us an overview of what your team is working on now?
We're currently working on this set for Wedding Singer. It was originally on Broadway based on the Adam Sandler movie.
Yes, with Drew Barrymore?
Yep.
Which was the big 80s?
Yes, oh yes, very big 80s.
Tell us about this piece that you were building out, the turntable.
Currently today we're working on a set design element that involves a turntable, which in theatrical terms is basically a large platform that spins. It doesn't always have to be a circle, but a lot of times it is a circle. So we've been kind of starting the process of working on that.
To me it looks like a giant Lazy Susan, but you're spending a lot of time, you and your team member Ben, on making sure each element is flush and perfect. What happens if something is off? Is there any room for error?
There's a little bit of room for error, but usually, I mean, it's got to be a circle, so it's got to be, as perfectly round as possible, which circle's a little harder to work with than a square. So it's kind of, getting that, on an oval, otherwise it'll spin weird.
Are people going to be on this particular turntable platform?
Yeah, there'll be people and some scenery on it while it's moving.
So tell us about the design aspect of making sure it's technically sound. How do you test that to ensure the safety of everyone involved on the set?
Usually in theater, as with any engineering, you build in a safety factor, so you design the elements to exceed way beyond what they ever will actually handle. We'll mock it up probably here or well enough in advance of any actors stepping on it to make sure that it's actually safe and tested and work it out.
We're also sitting on the stairs that are involved in this particular production. Interesting color combinations. Tell us about this particular production. It's different. You are the designer for it, and you
Yes.
said that's not typical. So let's start with what's typical.
A lot of times we contract scenic designers. In the past we've had scenic designers who are residents. They're always around and they do most of our shows. Right now we contract each show out, so sometimes I'll be contracted to do it. Sometimes we have outside contractors from around the state, or sometimes in the past around the country. It's to basically send us the drawings and either come and meet with us or Skype in on meetings or whatever. To come up with that design.
Let's go back to you and you serving as the designer for this production. What was going through your mind? What kind of story did you want to tell, in addition to, of course, a story that most of us have probably seen and know?
It's sort of the stereotypical 80s. That's the idea of the show, is everything is the gimmicks and the stereotypes. It's not supposed to be real 80s. It's supposed to be the 80s that everybody saw on TV and sort of remembers the bits and pieces. So it's kind of exaggerating all those things. So, color schemes and elements all are exaggerated to show that off.
When it comes to collaboration, we're watching you and Ben really work this turntable. How many people are typically involved in the collaboration and the build process for a production?
For the build process, usually we have 2 to 3 staff people around building it, one other person that paints everything, and then we have a slew of volunteers that we have that come in. They come in on work nights that we have scheduled, and they, any skill level is available. They paint or cut wood or build whole pieces by themselves, just depending on what they're able to do.
Give us an idea of your background. How did you evolve into this role?
I just originally kind of fell into theater in high school. Last couple of years of high school I actually acted. Found that fun. Got to college and I actually was going to be a media technology major and do like film and TV and stuff like that, because I loved the whole computer editing aspect of that.
Sure.
But then I sort of took a theater class and fell into that, and then sort of realized that I wasn't really that great of an actor, but I kind of had a knack for the technical stuff already, and so I fell into lighting and scenery and sound and all those things, that part of theater, and just eventually got a degree in it, and then have worked in it ever since. So it's definitely a career choice. I mean, from way back when.
That's exciting. Do you feel that your training and experience as an actor helps when you bring a set to life?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, you have to know what their motivations are as an actor and what all that means to be able to make that world that goes around them. You have to be able to read into the script the same way they do. Or as anybody else do. You have to see how the director reads the script and how the costumer and all those other people read the script.
So are you involved in the pre-production meetings and all the way through this process?
Yep, as a designer, I'm still involved in all the meetings, just as a knowing what's going on aspect and sort of the planning. So, there's a whole kind of design team that meets and discusses what the show's going to look like or feel like. And
let's talk about lighting. What is the key to great lighting? Is there one thing? This is a Pandora's box.
Okay. A really good lighting designer that I worked with once said that half of lighting is shadow, which is one of the best quotes that I thought that summed it up. Basically, it's about focus. With a camera, you can frame in and you can focus the eye, but with on stage, you may have a gigantic stage where people's eyes could be looking all over the place. They could be looking behind them or whatever. And it's all about focus on everyone's going to look to the brightest part of the stage, and that's kind of the most important aspect of lighting. And then kind of everything from there sort of is the artistic side. If you can get that right and focus people's eye.
So you've captured them?
You've captured them at least.
Derek's putting me to the test because, as I said, the technical drawing aspect of this is not my forte, but I'm willing to stretch my boundaries. So I'm actually holding the technical drawings for the turntable, and Derek is holding my comfort zone, which is the creative, the pretty. Look at that zebra. It's like very big 80s part of this process. So where do you and your team start? Does this happen before that? What goes on in your mind?
This definitely happens before that.
Okay.
It's sort of you talk with all the other designers and the director about color choices and the look of the show, and then you do a whole lot of research, which was fun for this show because you got to watch a lot of 80s movies and look through a lot of very bad hair, all that good stuff. And then you sort of create design renderings from that, and then from there you go to you figure out how to build it, basically the practical, how are we going to make this happen.
Anything else we should know about building a beautiful set and creating that sometimes unspoken character?
I think so.
Well, thank you, Derek.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Frame is sponsored by Allegra, Click Marketing Solutions, Style Folio Jewelry,